I have a proposal to resume the internal elections for the 46 Science Club Management Committee station. May I have a second for this motion? So, John Allen Rasmus Asinas, you will have 45 minutes for your re-presentation and 60 minutes for your re-Q&A. You may begin when you're ready, and minute takers, please start the timer when he starts presenting again.
Okay, so I guess I'll just make some clarifications with the questions asked just now. So regarding Project Angel, right? I understand that SBC and communication have their own separate, because they have their own department, their own sub-class departments to tackle on, and I feel that Project Angel will be a bigger event that might be a bit outside of their scope of things. So I guess you can say that we can find a subcom for that in the next co-option, because we can establish another one. Obviously, you have to consult your president with it, whether we can do a co-option for Project Indra so that we can have a full focus on that event overall, so that we won't have to take our manpower from the other subcoms. Next, for the pull-up, I think I forgot to mention I did mention about how the crowds are going to be one of the causes of safety, but I've also forgot to mention about the people itself doing the pull-ups, because I guess some people just are a bit reckless in a way, so that sometimes they may just skip that fall when it comes to the pull-up. So I guess you have to take into consideration how, when this event happens, what are the countermeasures? Do we just put a padded floor or not? I guess one of the considerations that we can take when doing the bus, and for regarding that, we can also take the budget to SDO, whether they can take it from, whether they can give us more budget. We don't have to limit our allocation of budget from our end to shorten our funds, when we can, if the SDO can help us to be able to give us the budget for the pull-up bus. For the sports show, I do understand that it's only mainly for the undergrads. So if the alumni want to hop in, I guess we can do a separate event overall, in my opinion, because if it is good that, like I said, our connection is good, so we can have a sports show with the undergrads only, and then for, I guess, a smaller scale one, we don't have to be as big as a sports show. I guess it would be a much more smaller scale, and if we can ask the alumni to be able to provide for the subscription for that instead, also, so that we do have some funds for that sports shows for the alumni side. And if the undergrads want to go join that collaborative one, then yeah, we will have that as well. For Deepavali, the question about the Deepavali and about how the culture is not, like the inclusivity part, I do come to realize that I honestly completely forgot that NUSU are the ones mostly involved in this. So I just to clarify, we can, instead of tackling this problem overall, we can just ask or direct them to NUSU. So like, I'm pretty sure NUSU will be hosting events regarding this cultural inclusivity for them. So during this time, we can direct them to that instead of us, like, so that we can focus more on our subcoms or like our team as a faculty science, where it is for internal sports welfare and your SVC. And finally, maybe not finally, but in the event that your president is, I'd like to clarify that if the president is actually like unpresent, obviously I don't think I mentioned that I will be objective to the to my decision, because like I said, this is just doesn't involve my internal subcom anymore. It involves like the whole faculty of science, so I cannot be showing any form of biasness when it comes to this lah. So when I do in the event have to step up, I will obviously have to be able to give a very objective viewpoint, and I shouldn't be like treating other departments less compared to my own department, just a bit behind there. So yeah, that's about it for the clarification of questions and like my representation.
John, Alan, Rasmus, Asina, you have 40 minutes left for your presentation. You wish to end your presentation now.
Yeah.
I have a proposal to open the Q&A for the nominee John, Alan, Rasmus, Asina, the portfolio of Vice President of Internal Affairs for the 46 Science Club Management Committee, Stephen.
Q&A for the nominee John, Alan, Rasmus, Asina, for the portfolio of Vice President Internal for the 46 Science Club Management Committee.
I have a second for this motion, Alvin. Okay, so John, Alan, Rasmus, Asinas, you have 60 minutes for your Q&A. Jerry.
Hi, Chairman. That's approved. I have two questions for you. The first question is, the other VPs complain that you have been defending your branch too aggressively without consideration of the welfare of the other SCMC members, which is another essential role of the VPI in SCMC. Outline your course of action. For me, takers, this is question 63.
Okay, so this question is the other VPs feel that they, like the other people in the subcoms, are not getting more, like, I'm not being objective enough, like, is that it? Okay, obviously, these are things that I probably myself would have not realized. So, I may have either subconsciously been doing it, or yeah, I think I would have been probably subconsciously favoring my branch a bit more. So I guess when the VPs come to me, you have to take in the feedback. I feel that one thing a good leader needs to know is that they have to be able to own up to their mistakes. And if the VPs come to you saying that, oh, you're being biased, obviously this is something that you have to take yourself, where if I'm being biased, then where or like which aspects am I like being biased about, and what can I do to improve upon it? So these kind of things I will have to ask my VPs for more information on why they feel this way. I have to take into account what they think I should do. So seek advice from them. Don't just immediately shut them down, because like I said, there are probably things that I don't see in my own perspective. So with them coming to me, I will have to take into consideration what they say, and from then on improve. And then I wouldn't stop there. I feel that once I take their consideration into account, then eventually further down the line, I ask them again, am I still being biased? You have to realize, you have to be more self-conscious when it comes to these things. So check up on yourself, because sometimes, like I said, you can't really realize. By asking them whether you're still being biased, you would know whether you are doing it as they had advised you to, or like given their feedback on like what you can do more. Yeah.
For my second question, in a hypothetical scenario, during subcommittee gathering, you were informed that one of the participating subcommittee members had suffered a panic attack after being cornered during a physical game. What is the course of action?
Okay, so for this, right, we have to take it to, first of all, obviously, we have to make sure that this person is away from the crowd. I feel that when a person is having a panic attack, is not, or like it's unsightly on like their end to be for people to be watching them. And I feel that they don't want that to happen either, where you're having a panic attack, you will have 1,000 eyes on you. So first of all, the first thing you definitely need to do is get them to a safe space where there isn't much crowd, and only get the people involved that needs to be there. You don't have to need the whole faculty, like the whole SCFC to be there, because when a person is having a panic attack, you do not want to be surrounded by too many people asking too many questions at the same time. So first of all, the very first thing at the top is calming that person down. So you bring them to a quieter space, a safer space for them to calm down, get their thoughts collected, get their emotions like toned down, and then once they are calm and collected, or like enough for them to be able to speak properly, then find out the reason why they're having a panic attack. Because a panic attack on normal cases do not happen just like that. You have to find a reason why they are having this issue. So are they being too overwhelmed? Are they feeling something that, or like, are they being attacked, something that causes them to have this panic attack? So that's when you get to know the crux of the issue, the like why this is happening. And then that's when you start to slowly, based on what they say, involve the people that like involve more people to know more about the background, to see whether this align and this align, so that you have the full story in itself. Obviously, you have to have your you definitely have your president in the loop of this, so that they're aware, so that they won't question why this person is saying, or like at least a verbal information that this person has taken a break, so that you won't be so sudden that both of you just disappear. So yeah, you have to make sure that the person, first of all, is definitely okay. And that's the very top priority. Make sure that they calm down, and then find out the reason why they're having a panic attack in the first place.
Hi, I'm Tawin Hao, year 2 data science analytics, and one question for you. You mentioned in your presentation earlier on that cohesion is a priority of yours for the internals branch. In welfare, there are two main departments, marketing and publicity, both of which work very remotely. Knowing this, how can you achieve your goal of cohesion?
Okay, I do understand that both departments are very like solo kind of way in a sense, but cohesion in a sense doesn't have to be means they are working together closely. I feel that cohesion means being bonded. So that, I just want to clarify that that's what I mean by cohesion, is that they are bonded enough. And honestly, simply for them to be able to do that, bonding activities can just be done in their subcommittees. Going out together as a subcom is good for them to be able to know each other, and I don't have to like limit it to just that subcom in itself. You can also extend it to the other subcoms under internals branch. So we can have a smaller gathering for them where their directors will meet up with them and then get to know them, talk as the subcom and the departments together, and then we will have one big internals branch like meeting to just like chill, don't have to be work all the time, just a very casual kind of thing for us to be able to be more comfortable with one another, which in itself will eventually lead to cohesion and being bonded, in my opinion. Yeah.
I'm very year 2 life sciences. I have 3 questions for you. In a hypothetical situation, your sports director says he will want to start a new initiative of loaning out sports equipment to science students. What are the potential challenges this initiative may face? For me, because this is question 46.
So they're loading up new equipments. Okay, so one thing that I'm considering at the very top of my mind right now is how are we gonna backlog the equipments? How do we know which person take what, and how do we ensure that they return the equipments? Because when people loan equipments, sometimes people take it for granted. In my opinion, that's something what I have seen happen. So we have to make sure that whatever we loan back to them, we have to receive back. So we have to have a track, like either a Google form or a piece of track, something that we can track them, to know who loan what, and to ensure that we are getting our equipments back. Secondly, another consideration will be the timeline of like how long they loan it, because you can't expect a person to be loaning out an equipment for an entire year or all year long. So we have to definitely set a guideline on how long a person can loan this equipment. And then in the event that they do sell the equipment, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna reimburse us, or are they gonna, do something else? So we have to take into consideration the fact that if they break the equipment also, what are the people gonna do about it? Yeah.
Good. And for my second question, in a hypothetical situation, one of your internal directors insists that she should be able to book venues herself instead of asking a Honda sec to do it because it is more efficient. Outline your thought process and course of action.
Okay, so first of all, in my opinion, I have to go around, I'd say, not go around, I can take it back. I'll first ask my director why they feel that it's inefficient. You have to know that they feel this way somehow. Once you find out the reason why they feel that it's inefficient, then you consult your gen set with it. Like, is there a problem why it's taking too long? Or like, why do they feel that this can be done better? So, if they feel that there's an inefficiency, I wouldn't immediately suggest them to do it themselves. I still feel that it needs to be brought up to the gen set for them to realize that whatever they're doing is inefficient. So you work it out with your gen set and see based on the feedbacks of my director whether it's like this issue is causing it to be inefficient. And then we also gonna extend the hand whether it's only what my director feel or other director feel this also. So you have to consider that into a point where is it just my director or does the other feel the same way? And if it does, can we discuss with the just set and then improve upon it on how we can do it more efficiently this way? Yeah.
In a hypothetical scenario, you realize that science platform gathering clashes with sound DT, and both the directors require manpower from SLC and logistics. Outline your thought process and course of action.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
In a hypothetical scenario, you realize that the subcom gathering clashes with the sound DT, and both directors require manpower from SCMC and logistics. Outline your thought process and course of action.
Request manpower from sound.
Sorry?
Wait, sorry, can I get the first part again?
The subcom gathering clashes with the sound game count.
Oh, sound shots, okay. Okay, so my thought process would be, was this in the event timeline? Because I know we do have an event timeline, so I feel that you really need to go back to the very start where, why do you plan it such that the subcom gathering and then the sound game clashes? So actually this is not something that we can do already, but for the future, MC to take note of that when you're planning, we have to ensure that these events doesn't clash. we have to really be ensuring that we have enough leeway for both events to happen so that we have enough sufficient manpower and logistics for both. So since now we are in a case that the game trials are happening along with the subcom committee, then my question would be, can we postpone one of the events or like push forward such that we are like not clashing? Because that's one of, we are really lacking manpower. If we can't draw it from other sources, then we obviously have to split it. So I guess if you think about it, game trials is important in itself. I really think that it's important, and people need to be able to read. But there are multiple game trials. I mean, multiple game trials, right? It just isn't a one session or yeah. So because of that, I feel that less manpower is going to be needed, or at least we can do the game trials that require less manpower first. You don't need to have a full manpower. So you will discuss this with my VPFOP, whether we can do it that way so that we are able to split manpower effectively compared to just outright pushing the event, because I also feel that it's going to be hard. So we will focus more on the game trials that require less manpower, and then if they are really lacking manpower for their own departments, then we can provide some. But if their department is sufficient enough, then I guess we don't really have to, because in the end, I have my own events to settle. If I can prefer not to give my manpower, I would choose not to.
In a hypothetical scenario, the SVC progress members feel that the comments given by the DPI and consular is very harsh, and they feel very upset, and they do not want to make the changes to the activities according to the advice that they gave. The SVC director believes this to outline your course of action.
Sorry, who feels that the thing was very harsh? Only the SBC or
SVC programs executive.
Okay, so first I'd like to consider talking with my SBC first, or like, because I feel that since they go to the SBC, the head was more comfortable talking to the SBC. So I feel that me approaching to the person in question myself directly will obviously give them to be more pressurized. So I feel that I shouldn't be doing that. I should ask the SBC director to be, in a sense, the middleman, get to know what comments that me and the president said were harsh. Maybe because we just didn't really bring it out in such a nicer way during that situation. Like we could have put it in a better form or another. So we obviously have to discuss with, get to know what we said, what was wrong, and then if we really feel that it's after much thinking where we are less like, I say work mode, where in my opinion you are more empathetic and more sensitive to this kind of thing, then that's when you realize that, oh, what I said might have come off in the wrong way. And then that's when you kind of work with your SBC director to talk with that person to relay what your intentions are. Because in the end, you said it for a reason, but you just said it at a wrong, I say, you just said it wrongly. But there is some form of intention there. So when you sit down with that person, along with your president, to be you, the president, the SBC, and the person, talk it out and explain it, rephrase it in a nicer way to explain your points, and then see whether this person will be able to accept it more willingly. Because during that situation, I guess they might be all pent up, like just being pent up, because usually meetings are very long, and after a long day of games and all, you will be, or like a long day, sorry, volunteering, there will be a lot of mental fatigue. So when you're less mentally fatigued and then you rephrase your sentence, it may they may realize that it is not coming from a bad place, and it is something that will be able to help the SBC department overall.
My second question to you is, right and flag chose the same beneficiary as one of the beneficiaries that we see. SBC have decided at the start of the term. The SBC director is very upset and comes to you to complain about it. Outline your course of action.
Okay, so the very first question that I have on top of my head is that who got the idea of the beneficiary first? Because I feel that this kind of thing is in a way first come first serve. And I feel that if I say that I want this beneficiary, and then suddenly down the line you're telling me I want this beneficiary also, it's a bit unfair on my end to be accommodating to you when I said I wanted it first. So if my SBC directors was the first one to so-called claim the beneficiary, then obviously you will have to fight for their rights in this aspect because they are the ones who claimed it first. And I don't think it's right for the rank and flag to just take the opportunity when they are the ones who got it like further down. But if it's my SPC director that has like they got it second and the rank and flag first claimed it, I also don't think it's fair for the rank and flag if I decide to give it to my SPC. As much as you can be email about it, in my opinion, you have to be fair enough that they are the ones who got it first, and like they are the ones who declared it. So why are you choosing that, knowing that they choose it? So you have to explain to your SPC why you need to choose another one in a sense, as much as it is making them angry or irritated. I still have to feel that it's really whether it's right for them to be able to take that spot just because you're SBC. You have to consider that the flag and red also had this beneficiary in mind at the very start, and then suddenly you're taking it away. Then after that, people will also be like, why are you just giving it to the SBC? So you have to explain to your director that it really comes down to if you have known this information beforehand, then why are you taking it again? Yeah.
Hi, today's Susan, here to data science analytics, and two questions for you. The first question, other than aiding your directors during the preparation stage, such as vetting proposals, how do you envision yourself in using them in actual events?
Okay, so during the event itself, obviously the director is gonna get their hands very full. So there are certain areas where they can't really give their full attention into. So that's when I say I will be able to step in and help them if they need to. Obviously, there's gonna be the vice directors, but like I said, sometimes the event is just quite big to the point that they only have two pairs of eyes. How many things that they can see all at once? So I'll be walking around and overseeing what the directors are doing, and if they need me to step in, I will obviously help to step in. As much like I won't really want to because it's their event, but if they really need to and they really very tight on their hands, then that's when I will obviously help loosen up that aspect so that they are able to less burden themselves and help like to catch a breath. And if my directors really need to like take a break, and then that's when I will be taking over just for a while they catch their breath, take a break or take a nap if they want to, because if they're really, really tired. Because I don't understand these kind of events are very both mentally and physically exhausting. So these are the where you can just in a sense, take over for a while before you hand them back to your director once they are more refreshed up.
I'm looking for more details on how you are going to take over events.
Okay, so because you also know how, like you've seen the proposal and how the events are well laid out, so you know roughly what is going on. So in the event that the director is just not there, you're gonna be, for example, this person needs like some decision to make. The director isn't there, or like the director is far away. You can obviously make that decision also because you're well aware of what is going on in the event, and it's a more hands-on experience, and then you also get to interact with the people, get to know what the issues are, or like when issues come up, if the director isn't there, then that's when I will also have to help step in to help solve the issues that is happening concurrently.
My second question to you, I'm going to provide some context here. So as VBI, we'll be planning for subcom accounting, subcom gathering, subcom reunion. However, the SCMC proposed to you to combine the annual general meeting and the subcom reunion. These two are usually placed and happens at the end of the term of SCMC. Okay. So for the AGM, it's basically a presentation of the events that we went through. So for example, we go through our attendance. Okay, we present that. So that's AGM. Okay. For subcom reunion, is the last event that we as Science Club host. It's basically a thank you and a closing event to the year. Okay. So the SCMC proposed to you to combine AGM and reunion. Can you take us through your thought process on how you will exactly plan out this combined event called Science Club Legacy Gala?
Okay, so because my understanding that AGM is a more formal tone, in my opinion, because it's still a meeting in the end, while the last subcom gathering, like the farewell reunion, is in a sense a bit informal because that's when you're thanking people and you're being more appreciative. So I guess once you combine these events, you can do this in two parts. The first part is your annual general meeting where you discuss whatnot, but then that's when the second part comes in. Once all that is done, then that's when we can have all the informality that comes afterwards. Because once the meeting ends, the meeting ends. You don't have to bring it forward to the next event. And that's when you can just continue on with the Legacy Gala we did, and then have either musician performance or whatnot, a thank you or appreciations for the people under the subcom. I feel that it's good to show the appreciation in that way because we shouldn't just like let it be. Oh, you did this for sex club, but you never get any recognition. So since you wanted to combine the MC wanted to combine it, then we can have our formal meetings in the morning if it doesn't involve anyone other than like the MC. Sorry, just to clarify, the AGM is just for the MC, right? Or is the whole.
Science Club members are welcome to join.
Okay, so if the Science Club members or those who are joining, you can just have it like early in the morning, and then once that is done, then that's when we can have the rest of the day for the reunion. Because the EGM, if at least in my opinion, wouldn't be many people. At most, it will be minimally the 16 of us. So the 16 of us together do our EGM. If people comes, okay, sure. Then after that, that's when we will transition to our event for the subcoms, which can happen either later on the night. So we have the buffer time in the afternoon to have our last minute like equipments or like props or whatever that is needed to settle, and then for the dinner, then that's where we can have all our formalities, our thank yous, and our appreciation for the subcom members. Yeah.
I also probably to data analytics and one question for you.
So in a hypothetical scenario, during subcom recruitment, one FOP director tells you that their interviewee were allegedly told by another internal director to not join FOP subcoms due to it being very exhaustive during the summer. Outline the course of action.
Okay, in my opinion, this shouldn't be happening at all. Because as much as we are internal branch, we are also a science club overall. And I don't think any of the SAMCs wants it to have a internal break in our relationship. So this is something that you definitely have to settle quite seriously. And you definitely want to talk to the person that made a comment and obviously explain to them why you shouldn't be making this comment in the first place. So these are the scenarios where you kind of have to be a bit more firm because once this so-called crack starts to form, it's just going to escalate onwards, and then eventually they might have a disrupt in between branches, which we don't want to happen. So you have to consult the person and go talk to the person and tell them they shouldn't be saying this. And then not only that, but as a whole SCMC, you have to tell them either through the VPs or the directors, but you have to inform them that this kind of thing shouldn't happen at all. Because science is also it's a one big family, and you don't want that to be disrupted. So once you have to, in a sense, ingrain to them that trying to form a wedge is only gonna make things harder on your end. Because if there's conflict, it will eventually somehow affect you somehow, some way. So you just have to tell that person that you shouldn't be saying this kind of thing. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. How we do the analytics have two questions for you. So in summer, the DPFOP asks you to get members from the publicity departments from the 3 internal subcommittees to help take photos and FOPs as they lack manpower. What are your thoughts?
So can you repeat the question?
In summer, the VP FOP asks you to get members from the publicity departments from the 3 internal subcommittees to help take photos for FOPs as they lack manpower. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so my first thought would be, are we having any events during that summer period? Or is there any upcoming ones that may require our manpower? Because if I remember correctly, summer isn't like the BPI or like the internal branch isn't that heavily involved in or like they didn't have as much event during that period of time. So we have to see whether we have that much manpower. And I feel that welfare could, in theory, be able to give them manpower because the students are in holidays, so not many of them will be there. So if I remember correctly, there isn't much event during summer also. So you can definitely allocate the manpower provided that there isn't clashing or like upcoming events that will drain my manpower out. If that's the case, or if there is an instance that happened, I will suggest to the VP FOP to take manpower from other branches that may be more free compared to like my internal branch lah. Yeah.
For my second question, welfare would like to engage with an external vendor for a free diving workshop. The sports director is unhappy and believes that such an initiative should fall under the sports subcom instead. What is your take on this issue? For many takers, this is a variant of question 68.
So the sports feels that it sorry, can you repeat the question again?
Okay. So welfare would like to engage with an external vendor for a free diving workshop. And the sports director is unhappy with that because he feels that this initiative should fall under the sports subcommittee instead. So what's your take on this?
My take is honestly, I don't see why you're getting angry because, okay, sure, it may be under sports, but why can't it be a collaborative thing? You can do like joint program between sports and welfare to host this diving event because it is kind of sports like I understand, but it's also a welfare for the students. So I don't see why you can't involve two parties into this. So I suggest the sports director kind of like being mad at it. We can sit them now, all three of us, to see how we can incorporate both manpowers into helping this event come to fruition. Into fruition because overall it's still part of my vision of cohesiveness, which will this collaboration will help in the cohesiveness of the internal branch, which will allow us to, I guess, allocate more resources and more manpower to make it a better event overall, instead of just leading one director to handle it. If the other director can chip in, then sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Hypothetically, the welfare director is informed on that not using other than
Sorry, can you repeat your question about me?
Hypothetically, the welfare director is reported for making negative remarks about you in front of his president. Other than also action.
So your DPI make
No,
your welfare director make a comment on the president.
but yeah, in front of his president. To clarify, the welfare director was making comments about you.
About Nusu. Okay, so obviously, like I said, you shouldn't be kind of like doing this, although it's still Nusu. I feel that it's not good to be talking behind someone's back in the first place. But first, you have to discover what they said. Like, is it just out of spite or is it a criticism they feel that they just can't voice out? Because it could be either due to how the person runs things, or they just feel that the person in general doesn't align, their personality doesn't align with theirs. So you have to find out this issue of where this comment is coming from. Because like I said, every comment always comes from some form of issue in the person. So is this something that they personally feel that is constructive to the president, or is just bad mouthing them? If it's bad mouthing, then I feel that you have to confront the person, confront my welfare director to be mindful of what they say lah. I feel that because in the end you are still an SCMC member, and then you're still gonna be a part of the face of that sex club, and you back talking to people would inevitably affect the image of what the science club should be. So you have to come to understand why they are making that comment, and then if really it's something of a bad heart, then you have to be firm in it and be like, why is there a need for this comment to be said out in the first place? But if it's a comment for a more constructive criticism where they feel that this is something that the president can improve on, this is something that you can highlight to your president, because the president will be working more closely towards NUSU compared to the rest of the student body. So they are the ones they will be able to provide the feedback if there's a need to the NUSU president to see where things can be changed. Yeah.
And for my second question, the science team's office approaches you to collaborate with the Data Science and Economics Society for Illuminus, as it is their first time event. Outline your course of action.
Okay, so since it's gonna be the DSA, this DSA, right? Yeah, the DSA site's first time hosting Illuminous, and us as a science club having more experience. So we obviously are the ones taking the initiative and taking the lead in the project. So this kind of more towards like how do I compare, like a mentorship kind of thing, where they're gonna be observing more towards instead of being hands-on involved. In my opinion, you can't be really hands-on involved is something that you've never truly experienced before. So although they're gonna be involved, I feel that they wouldn't be as involved as my sports director is gonna be. So if they have their own sports director, they can be like so-called shadow my sports director, see how it works, how things flow, to ensure that the safety of the students are ensured, to ensure that the path is okay, and ensure that whatever consideration they have is taken into consideration. And then that's when we both provide the manpowers that we need for Illuminous. Obviously, they're gonna be less inexperienced, so it would be good to tag one DSA person to one of our science persons so that they know what they're doing. You can't just leave them alone because if you leave them alone and they don't know what they're doing and something goes wrong, then obviously they wouldn't know what to do. So I guess pairing them up with one of our members will be helpful for them to also go and learn and see how they manage things. Yeah.
I'm going to say here, two of my sites have one question for you. During Halloween sale, hypothetical situation, during Halloween sales, you realize that one of your subcoms in internals did not report the full amount of income to the honorary treasurer. Outline your thought process.
Okay, so the first thing that I'll obviously think of is if you never get the full report of the income, right? And then, so for example, you say this set amount, and then you actually earn set amount, what happens to that missing quantity? So you have to take into consideration where did the money go? And since this is a very, very, not only sensitive thing, but it's a very important matter because in the end, it's money. It's not something that you can just lightly tread upon. And if there are missing funds, where is this missing funds going? And they have to ensure that they have to be accountable for the missing funds because overall this is not only going to be affecting like loyalty, it's going to be affecting the whole science club in general because it's not only going to be the STO involved. I'm pretty sure the higher ups, higher than the STO, is also going to start questioning where missing funds are going. Because, yeah, it is in a sense theft. Because if the missing funds are not accounted for, this is considered theft. And if it's not taken into account or like you know where this is and it's being accountable for, then there's obviously a much bigger problem on where this is going to go. Yeah.
Hi, Jagma, data science analytics had one question for you. I'll give you some context. So, 2 years ago, subcom gathering was held in a fashion similar to NFOP, where people from different subcoms will be one group and they'll go around NUS playing games. And people feedback that they do not see a point in mingling with members from other subcoms. Last year, subcom gathering was held in a way where they were put in their own subcoms, but people feedback that like, why should I come for this bonding when I can bond with my own subcom outside of this gathering? So my question to you is just a comment on the ways that subcom gathering can be held in the future, or just thoughts in general. Just comment. Do I need to repeat for them? Yeah, I'll just repeat. Okay. So for context, 2 years ago, Satcom gathering was held in a way in a fashion similar to FOPs, where people from different Satcoms come together and play games. When people complain that they don't see a point in gaming with others. Here, it was held in such a way that they have old Satcoms, but they still play games and people complain, why must I come for this gathering tomorrow? So I just want to have your comment on the ways that Satcom gathering.
Okay, in my opinion, this kind of thing is, in this situation, people really won't be happy with whatever you do. Let me be frank. This kind of situation is, if I do this, I would say I'd rather do that. And it's a thing where it's because we have different people every year. It's not the same. Okay, maybe there are a few like same batch who comes every now and then, like comes back, but it's still a different group of like general people, and they won't be happy no matter where you do this from, because they feel that, oh, I'm already with my subcom, why is there any for me to bond with other people? Or it's like if you do it with your subcom, oh, how am I bonding with other people if I'm just gonna be sticking with the subcom? So you have to see that people actually just generally sometimes will really be giving you like this feedback because they don't I would say they don't appreciate, but more towards it's just a personal opinion in general during that situation. Because like they said, the grass is always green on the other side. You won't really know what the other side feels like because you're only seeing it from another perspective. Some people might feel that, oh, this is better than this might be better, but when it is actually during that scenario, the previous scenario is much better. So in a way, you will never really be able to truly please everyone. That's what I'll say to this.
Just to clarify, the attendance is low each year because of this.
The attendance is low because of this. Then I guess it's also good to have feedbacks taken back because in the end it's for subcoms, right? So you want to know what the previous years want it to happen. What can you do to implement? So you take into their feedbacks into account, see whether you can like bring up something for this because, like I say, you will not be able to please everyone, but you do your best to accommodate for as much people as possible, or in a way allow for that good publicity so that people are more willing to join. So it really it has to attract them somehow, some way. So you have to plan the event such that there is, in a way, attraction for them to come because you can't attract something if there's nothing for them to be attracted to. Yeah.
Actually, before I start my two questions, I want to follow on this question. So if you cannot please everyone for subcom gathering, would you still consider having this event?
Sorry.
If you cannot please everyone in this subcom gathering event, you still see the point in it, the purpose in it. Will you cancel this event?
I feel that taking an event such a big scale as this is not as easy as do I want to cancel it. You have to consult all your SAFC members to see what are their viewpoints on this also. Because, like I said, this subcom gathering is a very crucial part in the subcommittees getting to know one another and getting to know each other and bonding for having the first initial impression on one another. So you can't just simply, just because you feel that you can't please everyone, you have to cancel the event. I feel that although you can't please everyone, you just still have to try your best to be able to give out what you can for the people, give out what to your best capabilities, be able to showcase the events that is happening and be able to allow for a better, just in a sense, do your best for the event as much as you can so that people don't, so that this kind of events don't go to waste. Yeah.
So what's your best? What are you going to make subcom gathering? How are you going to plan?
How am I gonna plan? I feel that it's good to start out as a subcom. I feel that that's when you get more comfortable with one another. And then once the comfortability goes, then that's when you can do a breakout into getting to know the different departments. and then that's when you can slowly intermingle. Because I feel that sometimes people don't really want to interact with other departments because they feel that they are not going to be close enough with them. So if your subcom gathers and meet by itself, like not meet by itself, like getting more comfortable with one another, then you bring them out to introduce them to other subcoms and then intermingle. Then that's when you can get the intermingle going forward. Yeah.
I have a related chemistry have one question for you. In a hypothetical scenario, the SEC director confides in you, saying that she's very unhappy about a comment that the other internal director had made about SEC code. For example, being unwanted or being inefficient. Outline your course of action.
So being unbothered and what?
Or inefficient.
Okay, first thing I would do is obviously I ask my SBC what they feel about their departments and their subcom first. I want to know their viewpoints on their own subcoms and their view, so that I have a basic understanding of what they see this picture as. Because sometimes like I said, some comments are coming from a good place. It doesn't necessarily mean that because they see this is bad intention. Some of them do, or like most of them do come with good intentions, just that they are phrasing it wrongly. So I feel that you have to first understand what is my SPC director's viewpoint on this whole situation and see what is their viewpoint on how they run things and how they do things, and do they feel that it's inefficient or whatnot. And then that's when once you understand what they feel about the scenario, then that's when you involve your other directors. You also ask them, is this what you said true? And if you say this, is there a reason why? And then once you find out the reason, like, do you feel that it's actually true? And if you do have a feedback, why not just give them directly? Because you can't just, like I said, this also goes back to like talking behind the backs. Talking behind people's back won't really give you the issue to the problem. It's like the solution to the problem. So once you find out what is the viewpoint of the SBC and the viewpoint of your other directors, and then that's when you come them together to be the mediator for both sides. You let your other two directors explain the viewpoint to your SBC, and then you let your SBC explain their viewpoints to them, so that they are able to work things out and see whether is this really truly the case, whether they're inefficient or they just didn't see some things that they haven't at the back end of the SBC side. Yeah.
Hi, this is Data Science Analytics. I have two questions for you. My first question, to provide some context, usually the PPI will give a cost rec briefing during SAM. Okay. So my question to you is, can you discuss the need for cost rec briefings during SAM when a cost rec booklet covering the same or even more detailed content can be done up by you and distributed during the camp? I'll repeat the question for the new users. Will you discuss the need for a cost rec briefing segment during SAM when a cost rec booklet covering the same or even more detailed content can be done up by you and distributed during the camp?
Okay, because I feel that knowing cost rate is very crucial for a year one student, because it's the first thing they're going to be handling before they even enter uni. So honestly, the first impression is that people, if they receive a booklet, let's be honest, not many people are gonna be sitting down there and gonna be reading a full detail of it. No, because you're freshly in your account, would you really will look at the booklet on that day itself? I doubt so lah. So I guess a good briefing will be going through the brief overview of the course track and explain to them why this happens. And then once the briefing is done, you can provide a booklet. And then that's when they can refer, just in case that they forget. Because sometimes we need to listen for us to be able to register some memories. Because sometimes nothing really registers or like we don't understand. And if we are just given the booklet, how else are we gonna ask questions when we have questions? So during the coursework part, it's not only the briefing itself, but the Q&A part that is very important when students are very confused on what to do, who to look out for and whatnot. Because sometimes when you're just given words, you really do not know what to do with that information if no one really tells you what to do with that information. So it's important for us to still have that briefing so that the students are briefly aware of what to do. And then that's when you have the course booklet to have a detailed explanation to guide them further once they have the pre-understanding of what the course track is about.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. My second question to you. Since Science Club has subcom gathering, subcom welcome tea, Science Club legacy gala, so these events are exclusive to Science Club members. So my question is, in a hypothetical scenario, a science student complained that the subcom Science Club legacy gala is exclusive to Science subcom only and should be removed. Rechannel the funds to other events which require more budget. Outline your course of action.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
A science student complains that the Science Club Legacy Gala is exclusive to subcom members only and should be removed to rechannel the funds to other events which require more budget and of course better greater science body. Outline your course of action.
Okay, so the thing is, the legacy gala is I feel that one of the most crucial things because it shows your appreciation for the people who is serving for the faculty of science. Not many people are getting things out of it, and they're really doing this because they want to. So I wouldn't start with the science students saying that we should cancel this event overall because we need to be able to show appreciation for the people who has been throughout the year helping you plan, organize, and being your manpower to be able to plan these events and making this event happen. So it's wrong to just say that just because it's not benefiting the whole faculty of science, we should cancel the event. Because I will ask the science student, like, they are also not benefiting anything from giving their services to you. So why are they doing it? So then you have to explain to them that they are the backbones of the science club and they have to be shown some appreciation because what they do is not an easy work and it's not something that everyone is willing to do in the first place. So I feel that you need to let the whole student body know why we are having this in the first place and telling them that it's an appreciation for those who have helped and who have helped plan the events, help with the events and be the manpower and those long sleepless night for them is this day is for them to have their limelight instead of the faculty of science student body. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. I have a proposal to close the Q&A for the nominee John Allen Rasmus Asinas, the portfolio of Vice President Internal Affairs for the 6 Science Management Committee. Ethan?
I didn't suggest Ethan here to say something and we will have to close the Q&A for the nominee John Allen Rasmus Asinas, the portfolio of Vice President Internal Affairs for the 6 Science Management Committee.
May I have a second for this motion, Alvin?
Alvin Motorway to data analytics. Second, Sasha.
Okay, as a reminder to everybody, remember to stay impartial with your voting. And if you're unconfident on whether or not your vote is considered valid, please do not be afraid to ask for an additional voting slip. We just printed like at least 100 slips more. So just ask, don't hesitate. Okay, and once you're done voting, please fold your voting slip in half twice and then raise your hand. Gabriel will come and collect your voting slips. Yes.